welcome back to my channel. If you haven't seen my face on your screen, well, that's because you haven't subscribed. My name is Linda, and today I want to talk about trisomy 13, which that is my son's condition. To me, it's very important to do this video first before we get to the fun part of my blogs. Well, my blogs actually. My son is the reason why I made this channel. Before you see this video, I would like for you to first see my introduction video where I explain a lot of stuff about this video. But now we're gonna talk about the point of this video, trisomy 13. But before I get to that point, I want to talk about how my life was before I had Steven. So let's talk about that first. I met my boyfriend when I was 17 years old. It was my last year of high school. That's where I met him at. I met him on MySpace. Yeah, I know nobody uses MySpace no more, but yeah, back then it was a little bit popular before Facebook was. So I met him. I met him when I was 17. I always wanted to be a mom. Like, being a mom for me was like my biggest thing, like my biggest dream always, to be a mom. So when me and my boyfriend were already like been in a relationship like for 2 years already, it's like when we decided that we wanted to be parents. So I was 19 at that time, that we wanted to have a child. For me, it was very hard for me to get pregnant. I did not know why, but it was so hard for me to get pregnant. But I didn't really, for me it wasn't really like, oh, I want a child now. I mean, I was still young. I was 19. I mean, I still had a whole time ahead of me. But for sure, I knew that I wanted to have a child before I turned 21. So I had like basically 2 years to get pregnant. It's something I wanted, like to be a young mom at the age of 21. That's something I really wanted. So I tried for a long time to try to get pregnant. I couldn't get pregnant. So I decided to go to a doctor, and when I went to a doctor, they told me something I never thought I was going to hear, something that no woman would want to hear. They told me that it would be mostly impossible for me to get pregnant, because I had an ovary cyst, and that was the reason why I couldn't get pregnant. They told me that even though with the medication they were going to give me, there was a very high possibility for me to get pregnant. At that time I was in college, but I had to stop going to college because I went through a horrible depression. I went through a depression that was just, it was the worst depression. It was the worst time in my life for me. I went to depression. I was so depressed to the point that I couldn't even go to baby showers. Actually, I did went to one. A lot of my friends invited me to the baby showers because at that time people decided to have children while I was depressed. I went to a baby shower once, but when I came back from that baby shower, I started crying very bad because, like I said, there was some point, baby showers to me were like something that made me really sad and made me really want to cry bad. Looking at baby clothes, looking at even babies made me sad because it was something that I knew that probably would never happen to me. Probably I would never become a mom. I was very depressed, but thankfully I had my boyfriend's support, my mom's support, and my family's support, because really at that time I was very depressed. It was a very hard time in my life. Like I said, couldn't go to those type of parties. It made me really sad, made me cry. I mostly cried every day, to be honest, because I saw pictures on my social media of babies and stuff like that. I saw that some people that I knew were about to have a baby, and I'm like, why me? Why not me? Why I cannot have a baby? Why not? If that's something I always wanted. To me, becoming a mom was very, very important to me because I wanted to be happy. I wanted to give all my love I have to a child. So, in around November 2014, I did take my medication. I was in a treatment. Thankfully, that treatment did work. I actually thought it wasn't gonna work at all, but it did work. But in November 2013, is when I found out the biggest news of my life. I was finally pregnant. I was finally gonna have a child. I was super, super happy. I couldn't believe it. I honestly couldn't believe it until I saw my belly that started growing. That's when I actually believed it. When on March 17th of 2014 was when I was supposed to find out that I was gonna have the gender of my child, which it's a boy, obviously, right? That's when I found out. I was super happy when I found out it was a boy. I was so happy. I mean, I think my pregnancy was the best. I was at the best moment of my life. I mean, I was the happiest woman ever. I was finally going to be a mom. I was super happy. My boyfriend was obviously happy too. My mom was. Almost everybody was happy. And I was so happy, especially when I found out it was a boy. I was going to be a mom of a boy. That's pretty awesome to me, that I was going to be a mom of a boy. But then a few weeks after I found out I was going to have a boy, they did an ultrasound, and they told me that it was like an 80 possibility chance that my son was going to have Down syndrome. But at that time, they told me I wanted to do more further exams, but I didn't want to, because I'm like, if my son is going to be born with Down syndrome, I'm still going to love my son the way he is, without Down syndrome or with Down syndrome. So as time passed, I had my baby shower, my belly was growing. Don't worry, you can see pictures of my pregnancy, and after this video I'll post all the nicest pictures I have, because trust me, I took a lot of pictures of my whole pregnancy, because I did not know when will God give me another opportunity to have a child. So that's why I had to enjoy it. I enjoyed every moment. My feet did get swollen, I did get very tired, but honestly I didn't care, because I knew that once I had my child, everything would be fine. So I had my son in August 8th, 2014. That's his birthday, yay. I had my son that time. I knew there was something wrong with my son. I kind of had a feeling, especially because they told me that there was 80% chance he was going to be born with Down syndrome. But I guess the doctors didn't really see any features of him having Down syndrome. So that's why they didn't do the correct testings at that time. My son was already 3 months when my son was very, very, he was still like if he was a newborn, because he couldn't lift his head. He didn't have enough strength to lift his head. When you carried him, you would think he would fall, because he couldn't hold himself. He wasn't strong enough to be 3 months. But I told his pediatrician, and his pediatrician told me that it was normal, that he would be stronger later on. But my son time passed, and my son was already 6 months, and my son couldn't lift his head up at all. I mean, when probably a week-old baby could lift his head, so how come my son couldn't? So I'm like, why would a doctor say that's normal? To me, that wasn't normal. So I decided to change doctors, and right away they told me that my son was very delayed. My son at 6 months was not actually like if he was 6 months. He was basically like if he was a newborn. So did the genetic testing, and it turned out that they declared my they said that my son had trisomy 13. They said that when he was 6 months. They told me that my son had trisomy 13. At that time, I didn't know exactly what was trisomy 13, but I looked it up on the internet, and like looking at all these stories about it, I'm like, wow, I am very blessed to have my son in my life, because as some of you may not know or may know, trisomy 13, it's a genetic disorder, and unfortunately, most of the kids who have this condition don't survive the first week alive, and the first week of birth. Alive. They do not survive. Some of them do survive probably past the month, or some of them do survive during their life, but they have a lot of health conditions. And to me, listening to all these stories, my son is already going to be 4 years old in this August, so I am very blessed to have him in my life. I don't know how long I will continue having him in my life, because like I said, with this condition, you never know. My son is a very healthy child. He only has asthma. And of course he has delays. He goes to preschool, but he's in a special education classes because he's not like other kids. He cannot learn the same way as other kids. My kid, Steven, is going to be 4, but basically Steven is like if he was a 2-year-old, something like that. I'm not so sure how, but I mean, my son just learned how to run. Steven learned how to walk when he was 2.5. That's when he learned how to walk, and he learned how to crawl when he was around 1. Also, he learned how to lift his head when he was 8 months. So he was very behind when he was a baby. Right now he is talking. I could say that he says 50 words. He copies everything you tell him. He copies everything you hear and all of that. But he still has a long way to go to learn a lot of stuff. And that's what I'm here for, to help him to that. Me and him and his dad are walking to this journey to help our son to be a better person one day. Hopefully God lets me have my son for many, many more years to come. And if God decides to take him, I would understand that, because if it's God's will, I will so understand that. But to have a son with trisomy 13 has really changed my life a lot. My life has more sense to it. I mean, I have a reason to live. I mean, I have a reason to smile every day. Every day when I wake up, I always thank God for giving me a child like him. I mean, I always wanted to be a mom, but I mean, like, to be a mom of a special kid is such a big blessing. I mean, it's the best blessing of this world. To have a son with special needs, you have no idea until you are a mother or a father of a son. I mean, until you're a mother or a father of a child with special needs. That's the day when you will know how amazing it is to have a child like this. I mean, sometimes it's stressful, of course, because their tantrums are more horrible. Like, no idea. He pulls my hair all the time. Sometimes he slaps me. Sometimes, but I tell him to stop, because I tell him, Steven, you have to be nice to mommy. You don't do that to mommy. I always tell him that. I always tell him that that's not nice, that you don't do that to mommy. That's what I tell him all the time. But sometimes he does listen, sometimes he doesn't understand. And that's the reason why I made this channel, to let everybody know that anybody can do it. If I have done it with my son, we still have a long way to go. Of course, he's just 4 years old. I have a whole life ahead of me, hopefully, with him. So I'm still learning. I'm still basically new to this. So if doctors ever tell you that you're gonna have a child with special needs with Down syndrome or with trisomy or with any other special needs as your child grows up, don't be afraid. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's something new, of course, because you're like, what am I gonna do? But what am I gonna do? I don't know. This is something new to me. Of course, being a parent is hard, but it's also something. Well, it's a blessing to be a parent, especially to be a parent of a child with special needs. Feel blessed. Not one time, but I mean 2 times, because you're already blessed to have a child, but now you're gonna be extra blessed because you have a child with special needs. So I hope you really liked my video. I know it was a little bit long, but like I said, for me it's very important to first do this video, then I'll get to the actual fun stuff about my blogs. I'll record Steven going to fun places. Chuck E. Cheese, parks, stores, everything on this channel will be about Steven, and also about my niece and my little brother. They'll do their part, but to me this video is the most important video of all. Please subscribe to our channel. Please support us. For me, it's very important to show the whole world that having a child with trisomy 13 or having a child with special needs, it's not hard at all. Well, it is, but you could do it. If I can do it, you can. Thank you very much for watching this video. Please like our Facebook page, our Instagram page. I hope I see you guys in the next video. If some of my videos are a little bit too that's because I'm still new to this YouTube world, and I'll try to upload videos as much as I can, but sometimes probably I'll just upload once, or maybe if I get lucky, like don't have something to do with doctor's appointments, because I do have a lot of doctor's appointments sometimes, I'll try to post a video twice a week, but mainly it'll be once a week. Like I said, I'll try my best. I hope you guys continue to supporting us. I hope you guys start supporting us, because to me this channel is very important. And like I said, I'm doing it for Steven. So at the end of this video, you will see some pictures of my pregnancy. You'll see some pictures of Steven when he was a baby. I hope you enjoy those beautiful pictures, and I hope you continue on supporting us. Thank you. Bye.